seated.
Welcome to Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt of the Marquardt Law Firm at marquardtlawfirm.com.
Welcome back to Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt, on the radio, on podcasts everywhere, on Facebook Live. Right now, you can post a comment if you have a question, or you can call the show live. Right now, I'm here in studio. You can call 210-380-8867, 210-380-8867. Or if you just want to schedule an appointment at Marquardt Law Firm, you can call Marquardt Law Firm at 210-530-4278, 210-530-4278, or chat online at marquardtlawfirm.com. That's M as in mother, A-R-Q-U-A-R, D as in David, T as in Timothy, lawfirm.com to schedule a consultation. Now, the reason I'm talking to you today is because I just returned from continuing legal education about updates in elder law, and I wanted you to know the same updates that I know, and that's why I'm talking about it today. I help a lot of people qualify for Medicaid to pay the high cost of long-term care, but to understand how to transition through different programs, I wanted you to know that there's different programs for different age groups, like children can qualify for Medicaid for health insurance. And then you can also qualify for Medicaid if you're a disabled adult and you have low income and low assets and you get supplemental security income. That comes with Medicaid to pay for medical visits and healthcare concerns. So the first topic is transitioning between public benefit programs. Life changes can trigger a need to change programs. So contact an attorney if you're on a program and you see one of these coming down the pike. If you're a child, you could age out of the program. So the changes in age can give you a triggering event that the program needs to change based on age. If you're a child, or if you're turning 65, well, then you're probably applying for Medicare, health insurance for older people. If you have a change in your health, there's a program that provides Medicaid for breast or cervical cancer. Now, you probably have to have low income and low assets as well, but just know that changes in health can cause somebody to change programs that they're on. They might need more care. If you're receiving Medicaid to pay for a caregiver to come to your home for some number of hours a day, some number of times per week, if you have increased care needs, you might need to move into a nursing home. Or if you're in a nursing home, you might actually get better. Doesn't happen a lot, but it can happen. And then when you go back home, you can change to another program that pays for the caregiver to see you several days a week for several hours. But see, the Medicaid is not one program. It's just a benefit that's included in any number of different programs. So Medicaid is funded by the federal government, but it's administered by the states. And so every state has different rules. The federal government can set parameters on what states are free to experiment with, but just know that different states have different programs and requirements and eligibility requirements to qualify. So another triggering event that means you might be changing government programs is if you move for health reasons, if you have a change in caregivers, if you are moving to Texas to stay with an adult child or to be closer to an adult child or family member, or if you're moving out of the state to go live with somebody or to be nearer to family members, because Nowadays, our families are spread out all over the place. They're no longer living all in the same town for generations and generations. If you have a question about transitioning between government programs, call the radio station right now on Saturday, August 2nd, 2025 at 210-308-8867, 210-308-8867, or you can post a comment on the Facebook live stream. Just go to Facebook, search for Talk Law Radio, look for the Lady Justice and the red, white, and blue logo, and find the live stream. Okay, so I've been telling you that there's all these different programs that have a Medicaid component. And so you may not even know which program that you need or want or might qualify for. So when I'm helping somebody decide that, I look at factors of the various programs to determine which program suits them. If they want to stay home or if they want to go into an institution. If they want to avoid a wait list, because some of the programs are not entitlement programs, they have limited funding, and so only a certain number of people can receive those benefits at a time, and there might be a wait list. Some of the programs are based on age, like I said before, for kids or for older people or disabled. Disability determination might be required. There are income and resource limits. So generally you have to have low income and low assets, but there are exceptions to the rules. I just made it my business to know the exceptions. There are times when people you live with can cause you to be disqualified because their income is deemed to be yours because you live in the same house. There are some programs that are based on support and maintenance. Some of the programs allow you to create a trust in order to overcome the income limits. Some of the programs have transfer of asset penalties. If you give away your money or if you give away your property, there could be penalties for that. And then you need to know something about Medicaid Estate Recovery Program. So in exchange for the state of Texas providing these benefits, after you pass away, they're going to ask you to reimburse the state with whatever assets you have left. And there are a lot of exceptions to that as well. So that's why you probably need to have an attorney on retainer just to navigate this complicated set of rules and regulations. So the program that you apply for is also going to be different depending on the agency that administers that program. It might be Social Security Administration, it might be Veterans Affairs, it might be Texas Health and Human Services. And then there's going to be different forms that you have to fill out. And so you can call 211, you can Google Texas Medicaid, you can try and do all this yourself if you want to, if you have the time and if you have the brilliance, the IQ to figure out everything that the government is asking for, then go ahead. But like I said before, it's not just the application. The government's going to want you to prove that you have low income and low assets. And so this is important not only for you, but think about your parents. Do your mom and dad have enough money to pay up to $8,000 a month for 36 months, which is generally the average time that the government thinks that a person will spend in the nursing home? So I'll go over some of the general rules for qualifying for nursing home care. And the reason why I know so much about nursing home Medicaid is because I wanted to help people afford the high cost of nursing home care, because I saw people that would stay home even though the doctor said it would be dangerous, because they didn't want to pay $8,000 a month. And so if cost is the only barrier to you getting into the nursing home, if you want the care, if you want to be taken care of by a nurse 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you're over age 65 or you're otherwise disabled and you meet the medical necessity to be there, then I think that you should be able to get qualified even if maybe you don't fit the general rules exactly. And this is especially true for spouses. One time my dad's mom, my grandmommy, was in the nursing home, and I was visiting because I was living in Texas then, and I said, "How's grandmommy?" talking to my granddaddy, and he said, "They're kicking her out of the nursing home." And I said, "Why would they do that? She's the nicest lady I ever knew. What did she do to get evicted?" What he meant was that Medicare had stopped paying following a hospital stay, and in his mind that meant she couldn't stay there because they couldn't afford it. I said, "Granddad, I think there's something you can do to get qualified for Medicaid." And he said, "No, there's not. I already tried." Well, he didn't let me help him, but it sparked my curiosity to go figure it out so that I could help other people. So if you're applying for nursing home Medicaid, the income limit is $2,901 a month, and that's gross income before deductions are taken out. So you have to send Health and Human Services a copy of the benefit verification letters for Social Security or your pension or wherever your income arrives from. So 2,901, and the resource limit's $2,000. But you're allowed to have some other things that don't count against you, like your homestead, your car, your pre-need funeral plan. And so you're allowed to have some things. If you're married, you're allowed to save some money, because the government knows that you might have to fix something that's expensive that you can't cover with just income, like a water heater, a roof, or a foundation that needs to be repaired. And depending on the circumstances, the combined incomes of both spouses, you might be able to save a whole lot of money. Might be able to save the family ranch or the business. So that's when you would call a lawyer, and this is something that attorneys at Marquardt Law Firm can do. Marquardt Law Firm sponsors the show. We focus on business and estate law, elder law, guardianship, probate, trust administration. And so it's easy to get in touch with Marquardt Law Firm by calling 210-530-4278, 210-530-4278, or you can chat online at marquardtlawfirm.com. That's M as in mother, ARQUAR, D as in David, T as in Timothy, lawfirm.com. You can chat online. Well, I got to take another break, and when we come back, we'll be talking about some other updates that people applying for Medicaid need to know. We'll talk about what is a Medicaid Asset Protection Trust. We'll talk about some sinners and saints and legacy too. Stay tuned.
This has been Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt, brought to you by the Marquardt Law Firm. You can learn more at marquardtlawfirm.com. And be sure to listen to the full Talk Law Radio show Saturday mornings at 11 on 9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Each week, attorney Todd Marquardt talks about the law. His mission with the Talk Law radio show and podcast is to help you discover your legal issue blind spots. In the beginning, God had one law. Don't eat from the fruit of that tree. Then came the Ten Commandments. Now we have federal, state, and municipal lawmakers that won't stop creating new laws. Laws that might impact you without you knowing it. Listen to the show and drop a line on Facebook or email host@talklawradio.com and let the host know what you think of the show, the topics you want to hear, and whether you want to be a guest.